The Metal Gear Solid franchise is legendary, not only jumpstarting the stealth genre of games, but flat out just creating it in general, carving its own legacy among so many action-packed shooters at the time. And as someone who's played almost every Metal Gear Solid game there is, I truly could never really call myself an ultimate fan until today. Because we're gonna look at 1987's MSX2's original hit, Metal Gear, and see where this series got its humble beginnings, and if, as a game itself, how well it holds up almost 4 decades later. Now, some things I want to clear up. This is gonna be the HD version that came bundled in a few months back with Metal Gear Solid 1's legendary re-release. So if I'm a bit off, I apologize. I couldn't find a way to play the OG. Next, this isn't gonna be a step-by-step retelling of the entire story of Metal Gear. It's just going to be the basic bones of it to see how well it holds up with today's standards. Now, let's begin. So, we all know the story of Metal Gear. Rookie soldier Solid Snake, working for the Foxhound unit, is sent into Outer Heaven. With Big Boss on radio support, he'll come across other various characters that'll either help him or unhelp him as time goes on. Though, his mission is simple: infiltrate the enemy area, rescue the captured Foxhound agent Gray Fox, and secure Dr. Drago Petrovich. Then, destroy the ultimate weapon.
Metal Gear! What the heck is Metal Gear?
A mobile nuclear launcher capable of launching nuclear attacks from anywhere in the world. Though things don't go as smoothly as they were planned. Snake, getting deeper and deeper into the enemy territory, starts to uncover the truth, revealing that the Big Boss isn't just the leader of the Foxhound unit, he is in fact the twist villain and leader of Outer Heaven. After destroying the Metal Gear, Solid Snake takes on Big Boss for one final showdown. And after defeating him and making his way out of the base, he guns it, before minutes later the base explodes into roaring fire, securing Solid Snake's first of many legendary victories. Now, if it seems like I skimmed over quite a bit there, that's because I kinda did. You see, this is pretty much what we always get when the events of Metal Gear 1 and 2 are referenced in the Solid series. We get more of the legend of that mission more than the actual what happened, because as for the boss, side characters and such, so many of them are just flat out forgotten or barely even mentioned, to the point where you don't even really have to play Metal Gear 1 to know what happened. It's all just told for you, which is kind of a shame really for when you play Metal Gear as long as I have, because you've built it around these epic stories that are almost larger than life itself. But on its own, it's a pretty good story. Going in, saving Gray Fox, learning the truth that Big Boss was actually the enemy leader this whole time, and it helps out quite a bit. It makes for some funny little moments, like how he just constantly keeps forgetting to give you information throughout the mission. It's a nice little twist, and definitely not many games were going for it at the time, if any. It's a solid story on its own. And it's pretty cool seeing some of Kojima's earliest writing works in this game, because this was supposed to be a standalone story. No sequels or anything were really planned out. So it was really neat seeing how Kojima worked in his first story and how he was going to expand upon it in the future. Now, how's the gameplay hold up almost 4 decades later? It's really good, to be honest. Like, I found myself enjoying it, having fun, and enjoying this such new way of approaching old retro games, with stealth being the main focus and not flat out combat. Because if you try gunning your way out of every single room, you're gonna burn through your ammo and rations so fast that it won't be worth it at all. So you really have to treat stealth not only as your main option, but more like your only option in some cases. Though, this being the Metal Gear game, it still has some of those fun little tricks Kojima likes to fool his players with. For example, Big Boss, again, not giving you hints and needed information for this mission. You walk into a gas room without a gas mask, he'll be like, oh, whoops, sorry, forgot to give you that. Or when you get captured and all of your items are taken away, after you get them back, it turns out there's a transmitter that's been planted in them, and if you don't get rid of it, every time you walk into a room with guards, they'll be instantly alerted and come right after you until you destroy it. I got so frustrated at that for almost 30 minutes before I realized what had happened, and all I could do was laugh and shake my head and say, yup, that's Kojima. That is totally something he would do. And to be honest, the enemy AI is very impressive, especially for something this ancient. Guards have set routes, set sleep schedules, and set shift change posts where they'll leave and give you an opportunity to go into rooms you need. It's so advanced and so crazy how you have to really like memorize them a little bit to go from room to room so you can make it as easy as possible for you, and before you know it, you're just following their patterns with ease and going through room to room without even getting detected once. Now, all that being said, there is a few problems with this game. And to be fair, it's not really the game's fault, it's more of a product of its time's fault. You see, back in the 80s and 90s, games weren't able to be as advanced as they are now. You can't have so much stuff in there. You have to make it kind of short on purpose, but if your game's only 2 hours long, it's not going to do well sales-wise or reputation-wise. So what game designers had to do back then was artificially pad the time with hidden areas, hidden rooms, secrets, backtracking, all that fun stuff that gamers today just absolutely love. And unfortunately, Metal Gear kind of suffers hard from this in some areas, because as I said earlier, people will just tell you what you need for a certain room, but they won't tell you where it is, how to find it, or even where a general location would be of it. A perfect example of this annoyance is, say, in the basement area, you have to go find a wall that you can break down with C4, blow it up, and get a uniform at it for enemy guards. You weren't told where it was, you weren't given any hints on how to find it, you would just have to go around, if you went in blind like me, go around and punch walls until it made sound. And that's how you would know that you could break that wall down and get what's in it. But that's not all. Even before that, you have to go through a giant maze after you had to find another hidden area in that same room. Go through a giant maze back and forth to get a key item. It's really clear that this was suffering from the padding time, because once you know where everything is, you can beat this game in like 2 hours. These little nitpicks aside, I would still say it's a great game. With all that being said, why the hell are key cards and doors all the same color? Like, this has no reason to be this way. It's very frustrating. Now again, I'm playing on the HD version, so I don't know if people have changed this or if it was different, but it is so annoying trying to circle through these cards for a specific door. And with 1 or 2 or 3, it's pretty manageable to circle through them. But once you have 7 on them and it's your first playthrough and you're trying to go in blind, it is so frustrating and annoying going back and forth, looking and retrying. And this is such a simple fix. Make keycard 1 blue and have it only be workable with doors that have a blue light on them. Keycard 2, have it be red and have it only work with doors with a red light on them. Keycard 3, have it be pink and only work with doors with a pink light on it. It's such an easy fix, and it really does make me just shake my head. To quote the classic angry video game nerd, what were they thinking? But with all that being said, even with this game's gripes and nitpicks and being kind of simple story-wise, I would still highly recommend giving it a full playthrough. Not just for the Metal Gear lore and cool little Easter eggs you see throughout. Well, not really Easter egg, more like the beginning of what would be the seeds of major staples in the game, such as the cardboard box, for example, but also just to play a really fun old school game that's not really played that much these days. Most retro people I see only play like Mario, Zelda, Contra. This is something completely different and something that is totally holding up over time. Metal Gear deserves to be completely remembered and even given a few good plays. Now, I'm not gonna lie, if it's not your cup of tea, don't force yourself to finish it. I won't blame you. It's not for everyone, especially if you're one of those people who don't like guides and want to go in blind. You'll be very frustrated for a very long time. Just give it a try. Get to where you feel comfortable and be like, yeah, that's pretty cool, and I appreciate the early stepping stones for what would be one of the greatest game genres of all time. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Out.